Welcome to ENI UK and Europe edition. I'm Love Ann Season reporting from London. We bring you news reports from the United Kingdom and Europe. We also have live reporters on standby and ready to give their reports. Here are our headlines. UK becomes first country to approve anti-COVID pill. Coronavirus infections in Europe continue to rise. COP26 tackles climate change from correspondent in Glasgow, Catherine Talens Tuazon. Now in France, we have Febeline Calpo reporting for us today. Hello, Febeline.
Hello, Love Ann. Senegalese writer star wins prestigious Prix Goncourt Award. Back to you, Love Ann.
Thank you. Now, correspondent Francis Manalili shows us around the art exhibition in Mainz, Germany by world-famous artist Banksy. Now, in the UK, Iglesia Ni Cristo Aid to Humanity in the United Kingdom and Ireland, they conducted an Aid to Humanity where they distributed over 3,000 care packages and over 4,000 winter coats to their local communities and charities. This is reported by UK correspondent Grace Rivera. Now, an Aid to Humanity charity event was organized by the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, and it reached the city of Geneva, Switzerland. This is by Jamali Umali. Now, in the UK, Hamilton and Verstappen rivalry continues in the upcoming Mexican Grand Prix, reported by Ryan Florentino. In our final segment, View from Our Window, we will show you the Bosphorus Bridge in Turkey, so please stay with us. Now, Britain on Thursday became the first country to approve the anti-COVID pill as it greenlit the use of Merck's arrival drug to treat patients suffering from mild to moderate coronavirus, and that was what regulators had said. The antiviral called molnupiravir works by decreasing the ability of a virus to replicate, therefore slowing down the disease. The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency, MHRA, said its trials had concluded it was safe and effective at reducing the risk of hospitalization and death with people with mild, moderate COVID-19 who are at increased risk of developing the severe disease. Based on the clinical trial data, the drug is most effective when taken during the early stages of infection, and the MHRA recommends that it be used within 5 days of the onset of the symptoms. It has been authorized for use in people who have one risk factor for developing severe illness, including obesity, old age, diabetes, and heart disease. Britain, which has been one of the countries hardest hit by the pandemic, announced on October 20 that it had ordered 480,000 doses of molnupiravir from US pharma giant Merck. Drug regulators in the United States and the European Union have already begun an evaluation of the drug. Now, the World Health Organization headquarters announced on Thursday that Europe is once again at the epicenter of the pandemic. Hans Kluge, WHO Europe Regional Director, in his statement had said, cumulatively, there are now more reported cases, 78 million in the European region, more than the Southeast Asia, the East Mediterranean, the Western Pacific, and Africa combined. According to data compiled by AFP, the number of new daily cases has been rising for nearly 6 consecutive weeks in Europe, and the number of new deaths per day has been rising just for over 7 consecutive weeks, with about 250,000 cases and 3,600 deaths per day. All age groups are concerned with a rapid increase of the older population groups since week 38. They mentioned 2 main reasons behind the new surge in case. First, insufficient vaccination coverage, and second, the relaxation of public health and social measures. Some ways of defense against the virus include testing, contract testing, the ventilation in indoor spaces, and physical distancing. But the WHO has once again highlighted that vaccination is the most powerful tool and calls for the rapid and fair generalized uptake of vaccines by everyone eligible. Time for a break now, but please come back for more E&I UK and Europe edition.
Samahan ang paborito nating barkada sa umaga. Magbibigay ng saya, tawanan, at iba't ibang pakulo sa inyong umaga. Busog pa kayo sa kaalaman,
Tony knows!
at updated sa umaarangkadang mga balita. Matutong kumita, magluto, mayroon ding sayawan at kantahan.
What? I am a good girl.
Ang programa na nagbibigay inspirasyon sa bawat kada all over the world.
Here in Net25, we are your fans. Air Group Hug!
Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 6 hanggang alas 8 ng umaga. Dito lang sa Net25. At home kayo rito.
Welcome back to E&I UK and Europe edition. I'm Love and Season. Interesting stories now from the UK and Europe this week. We now go to Scotland to give us an update on COP26 from Glasgow. We have a report from Catherine Tallins-Tuazon. Let's take a look.
It's the end of the first week of COP26 here in Glasgow, Scotland, and the city has welcomed thousands of people from almost 200 countries. This is the largest summit the United Kingdom has ever hosted, and the main focus is on climate change. In the air here, there is a feeling of mixed emotions. There is excitement from the locals to see all the notable people that have come here to Glasgow. And it's the first large-scale event held here after a series of COVID lockdowns. On the street, there is also anger from the protesters and young activists that world leaders and corporations aren't doing enough. But many have hope that the world leaders can come together to work as one.
Look, as world leaders arrive in Glasgow, the last thing we need is more hot air. And there they are in a hot air band in Glasgow. What we need is action.
What is COP26? It stands for Conference of the Parties and is in its 26th year. This annual convention is sponsored and created by the United Nations. It involves talks among 200 world leaders, representatives, along with businesses and citizens. So what will be discussed during these talks? All these countries will be asked to sign and promise on some key issues, including cutting carbon emissions by 2030 to help slow down the rising temperature of the planet, to reduce deforestation, and to pledge $100 billion annually to help developing countries. This will help finance the use of green technology and to help create defence systems for countries most affected by climate change. How does COP26 affect all of us? What is decided during these talks will shape new laws in our respective countries. It will affect our work, what food we eat, and our daily commute. It will affect almost every aspect of our lives if our world leaders follow through on their signed commitment. Boris Johnson stated in his opening speech that climate change is a ticking time bomb that must be defused. It seems other world leaders feel the same urgency to act. Just days in, over 100 leaders agreed to end deforestation by 2030, and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos has pledged $2 billion to the cause. COP26 seems to be off to a good start. Hopefully, this continues through the next weeks of the talks. We'll keep you informed on the developments of COP26. Reporting from Glasgow, Scotland, I'm Catherine Tallins-Tuazon. We live in interesting times.
Now in France, the Goncourt Prize, which is considered as the most prestigious award in French literature, goes to a Senegalese writer. Fabeline Calpon is with us today on this topic. Hello, Fabeline.
Hello, Lavan. On Wednesday, the Prix Goncourt France Leading Literature Prize was awarded to Mohamed Mougarsar, a young Senegalese writer, also the first sub-Saharan African to win the literary award. The winning novel, La Plus Secret Mémoire d'Homme, The most secret memory of man is his fifth, loaded for its mysterious character, quality of style, and writing. On winning the prestigious prize, aside from feeling so much joy, the winning author said the following: "It's a signal that is also sent to all writers." African, for example, French speaking, write very beautiful things, but perhaps don't always have the chance to be spotted, published, acclaimed. Goncourt President Didier Decoing said he read Maupassant's work in one setting, calling it a very fine book and a hymn to literature. Goncourt Secretary Philippe Claudel said, and I quote, "With this young author, we have returned to the fundamentals of the Goncourt wheel." In Dakar, the capital of Senegal, booksellers were reporting that their stocks of books are sold out. Former Senegalese Prime Minister Abdoul Maye tweeted that this event will mark the history of our country, with what pride it brings to our people. Back to you, Love-Ann.
Thank you for that, Febelin. Can you tell us briefly what is the book about?
Yes, Love-Ann. According to the Senegalese news agency, EPS, the book tells the story of a young Senegalese writer, Digan Laterre-Faye, who discovers a mythical book in Paris called The Labyrinth of the Inhuman, supposedly published in 1938. Digan is a former student of a military high school in Senegal and a literature student in Paris, which is not far from the author's background, APS noted. Back to you, Love-Ann.
Thank you for that, Febelin. And also we'll look forward to having you again next time.
Yes, Love-Ann, I am Febelin Calpo from EBC France Bureau. We live in interesting times.
Now the artwork of world-famous artist Banksy can be seen in Mainz, Germany. Francis Manolili shows us around the art exhibition. Let's take a look.
Have you ever come across one of these prominent graffiti paintings? Well, behind me is the exhibition of the mysterious yet world-famous graffiti artist Banksy, here in Mainz, Germany. Let's take a look at the work.
Banksy is a graffiti artist from Bristol who works under a pseudonymized name. He keeps his real identity hidden, yet his artwork is no stranger to the world. In the early 90s, Banksy started doing street art in his hometown Bristol. His artwork started gaining recognition there, to a point where it was up to debate whether his murals should be taken down because of their controversy. Yet 97% of the voters decided to keep them. Banksy's murals are characterized by irony and satire as they follow a topical pattern. More precisely, he addresses political and social themes such as anti-authoritarianism, anti-war, hypocrisy, and absurdity. He delivers his criticism on social and political topics through thought-provoking paintings. One of his most famous artworks, Love is in the Air, can be found on the West Bank wall, located between Israel and Palestine. It depicts a masked man, seemingly a rider or a thug, who is throwing a bouquet. Through this, Banksy addresses the Palestine-Israel conflict and his advocacy for Palestinian rights. Over the years, his murals have spread all over the world. His paintings can be even seen on walls of world-renowned museums, such as the Tate Modern in London or the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. The art exhibition in Mainz called The Mystery of Banksy, A Genius Mind, shows replicas of some of his paintings. As many of Banksy's paintings have been painted over, stolen, or destroyed, the goal of the exhibition is to bring his art closer to people. Banksy uses stencils and spraying colors to design his prominent artworks, though his specific technique cannot be confirmed due to his anonymity. Yet his artworks are characterized by rats, policemen, children, apes, or soldiers.
His identity may be hidden, but his artwork surely impacts not only the graffiti scene, but even so the political and social scene. So whenever you're roaming around in a new city, or even in your own, keep an eye out for Banksy's striking artworks. Reporting from the EBC Germany Bureau, I'm Francis Manalali, and we live in interesting times.
Thank you for that tour, Francis. Now time for a break. Please come back for more ENI UK and Europe edition.
How do you find that concept or that area where you gusto ko i-innovate ito?
Sometimes it just clicks. Maraming nag-audition. Tapos pinili. Tapos inayos.
When you say inayos, ayusin mo ang face, pagagandahin mo, ipapa-acting mo.
Hindi ako yung ordinary viewer. When I watch something, parang pinuproduce ko siya palagi.
Best work in terms of ratings and profitability. Is there something really that you can say original talaga? No.
Hindi. Nagawa na yan eh. When you talk to me and ask me to contribute concepts for the platform. How is your branding as a network? What is your personality as a network? What do you want to be? Gusto ko yun kasi challenge yun.
All these in this episode of Open for Business.
Welcome back to ENI UK and Europe edition. I'm Love and Season. More interesting stories in the UK and Europe this week. Thousands of winter clothing and care packages reach local communities and charities in the UK and Ireland through the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ's Aid to Humanity initiative. Grace Rivera has the details. Let's listen in.
Acts of charitable contribution play a valuable role in our society, providing helpful support to our community's economic chain. Such is also the aim of the Iglesia Ni Cristo in organizing charitable events such as this, which is constantly being held together with other INC congregations all across the world.
As winter months approaches here in the United Kingdom, the timely launch of this project sparks a winter donation drive under the Aid to Humanity initiative sponsored by the Church of Christ, Iglesia Ni Cristo. Today's event is a concerted effort of all its members across the UK and Ireland who had gathered generous donations of winter clothing and non-perishable food products, as well as essential self-care items.
There's a real need in this community in South Belfast and further afield, and I think the pandemic has uncovered some of the gaps that were there in services, and a lot of people who maybe were struggling before are in even more difficult position at the moment. So
this church does a lot for the community because I've got family that live right next door to the church, and they help them out.
This is the first time that I've seen something like this, and it's amazing.
This collective charity effort is reflected across Ireland too, as Claire Hannah, a Member of Parliament for Belfast South, visited Northern Ireland's Aid to Humanity. Aside from the walk-in members of the public who happily received their generous share of relief goods, Kieran Hughes from Welcome Organisation, who works for a homeless charity in Belfast, also attended the event.
Activities like these are hugely important, especially from our point of view. I work for a homelessness charity. We help those people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. but we couldn't do it without the help and support of the community and events like this.
It's been a really, really nice event. It's giving everybody, those people who are in need, it's giving them their dignity and a service and materials that are appropriate to them, and they've all got a very warm welcome when they've come through the doors, and it's really encouraging and really good to see.
It's made my day. It's made me happy. It's cheered me up. The church is very good. I've lived around here all my life. It's a very friendly area around here. The church is lovely.
Events like this get the community involved, so it can only be a good thing.
I think it definitely puts a bit of hope in humanity as well, that people can help other people, especially times have been hard lately. We've got a very large family, so it helps everyone really.
Today is an amazing day. I feel very, very pleased because I had not seen such an event for quite a long, long time. And being able to come out today as well has been very, very nice.
For my own feeling, I don't know for other people, I feel so good, so welcome around here. And I feel the presence of God is here. So I've even talked to Brother Anne that I think I will become of the fellowship here.
It's great to see such a community coming together, everybody pulling together to bring in donations of food and clothes and toiletries and all those vital things that people don't have easy access to. So it's great to see, it's inspiring, and congratulations to everybody involved. It's a great thing.
Preparations were put in place weeks prior to the event. Sorting hubs were established in 5 main locations, which were Battersea and Stratford in London, Newport, Wales, Manchester and Belfast, where the INC members' donations were sorted and packaged by volunteers in each hub, and were later brought here in Birmingham for this open door charity event.
Thank you very much. Please do keep living out your faith and service to the community, and really nice to meet some of your members today and understand a wee bit more about all that you're doing. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for the donations. It's really helpful for people out there that haven't got a lot, children, people that are suffering.
We are really grateful, and we appreciate that everyone has contributed to this event and helped to put a smile on everyone's faces, and we are really grateful, so thank you.
Yeah, and obviously when everything's on social media, they'll see how many people turned up and got involved. So yeah, it's been brilliant.
I'd like to thank everybody for everything, because like I said, I've got children. It's helping my children, it's helping me, and it's also helping the community, and thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to say a big thank you. It's great, to support like this, to support people, to donate. It's a great thing. God says we have to give and we have to love. So this is the way they are giving and share their love. So it's about love, love of God. So it's great. So I will say big thank you today. God will continue to bless them and their household.
For everybody who has been donated today, who's made the donation wherever, whether it's in whatever country, all over UK, we are very, very grateful, and we just pray and hope that this spirit continues and goes on a regular basis, so that we can think of our communities wherever we are, look out for each other wherever you are, and this will make this place a better world for everybody else.
On behalf of everyone involved in the Welcome Organisation, I'd like to say a huge thanks to the Church of Christ for organising this event today and across the world. I believe it's a great thing to see, and it will make a real and positive difference to people's lives. So thank you very much.
Compassionate acts of kindness in a climate of global financial crisis is a true expression of renewed hope and faith in public humanitarian services.
There's an exceptional vibe of community spirit amongst all those who are here today, an invigorating human connection we all need and desire. Reporting for Eagle News, United Kingdom, I'm Grace Rivera. We live in interesting times.
Thank you for sharing this story with us, Grace. Now, even in the richest cities of the world, there are people in need of help. Through its worldwide Aid to Humanity program, the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ reached the city of Geneva, Switzerland. Jamali Umali has the report. Let's watch.
Geneva is known for being one of the richest cities in the world, with a high standard of living and always one of the top cities in terms of quality of life. However, despite that fact, it is unavoidable to observe that there is a remaining proportion of around 8% of the population living in poverty. Precariousness has even been constantly increasing since 2018, and even more so especially due to the pandemic outbreak. Because yes, not only did the pandemic impact the population's health, but also their means of livelihood. More and more people have started to seek for help since then. In 2020, there was a visible increase of the number of people queuing for food parcels and basic needs. In response to this need, members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ in the Geneva area united with the church's worldwide Aid to Humanity activity. Before the very day, church members prepared and gathered winter clothes, jackets, and accessories such as gloves, scarves, and beanies. The items were neatly packed by size and gender for an easy distribution to the people invited to come and attend the church evangelical mission, which precede the Aid to Humanity activity. Among them were and loved ones, but also other people who were in need of assistance and support.
The reason why we have these kinds of events, beloved friends, is to be able to extend not only our help materially, at least in a little way, to help when it comes to your needs and the needs of your families. But our greatest hope is that when it comes to the study that we'll do right now, that this will remain as something you think about.
Through this activity, not only were the Iglesia Ni Cristo members able to show their love for their fellow men by extending again their help to their spiritual welfare, but also in providing them assistance for the basic human needs whenever they possibly can.
Me siento muy feliz, me siento muy bien conmigo mismo porque son palabras...
Me siento inspirada, que me siento bien, haber escuchado la palabra de Dios hace un poco bien al corazón, a la cabeza, hace pensar muchas cosas y me siento muy contenta. Estoy muy contenta de haber escuchado.
A heartfelt action truly felt by the guests during the event, with joy and happiness that could be seen on their faces.
Me siento agradecido y bendecido por Dios y todos los hermanos aquí presentes, que gracias a ellos ha sido la ayuda, ¿no? Se ha podido realizar esta ayuda humanitaria y pues nada, bendecida y como siempre
Claro que es, pero estoy muy contenta de la humanidad que tienen aquí ustedes todos y thank you very much.
This just shows that in a society where people are faced with difficulties, no matter where they may be, a helping hand goes a long way. From Geneva, Switzerland, Jamie Lee Umali, Worldwide Lingap sa Mamayan, special coverage.
Thank you for bringing us this story, Jamie. Now in sports, Ryan Florentino brings us the latest. Hello, Ryan.
Lewis Hamilton will be hoping his Mercedes team have overcome their occasional altitude sickness this weekend as he bids to beat Red Bull's Max Verstappen at the Mexican Grand Prix. The 7-time world champion Hamilton is bidding to overhaul the Dutchman's 12-point advantage in the Drivers' Championship with 5 races to go. Both men will be seeking a third win in 5 Mexican outings since 2016, with this race held at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, which is 2,285 meters above sea level and is frequently the scene of high drama. The thin air usually plays a part by diminishing the performance of teams' power units, with the turbochargers required to spin faster to make up for lost performance. In turn, this can create other problems and often deliver surprise results. It adds a layer of the unknown in the build-up, which only increases the excitement. We'll be taking things race by race and preparing the best we can, and will be ready to hit the ground running on Friday, said Red Bull's team boss. Behind the title contenders, Ferrari are expected to make the most out of their new power unit in their scrap with McLaren for third place. A battle likely to see Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz racing closely against Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. And that about completes our sports for this week. Once again, thank you for having me. I am Ryan Florentino reporting from the United Kingdom, and we live in interesting times.
Thank you for the sports update, Ryan. Now, in today's View from Our Window, we take a look at the Bosphorus Bridge in Turkey. Ireland, Istanbul, the largest city in Turkey, is located on two continents, Europe and Asia. This Bosphorus Bridge in Istanbul is known for connecting these two continents. The suspension bridge that opened in 1973, made of steel and has a total length of 1,560 meters, it stretches from Ortaköy, which is on the European side of Turkey, to Beylerbeyi, which is located on the Asian side of Turkey. This view is courtesy of Elta Paras. Thank you for sharing this view with us, Elta. That's it for today's program. Stay safe and keep positive as we bring you more stories next week from the United Kingdom and Europe. I'm Love Ann Season, and we live in interesting times.
This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Is exercise simply about achieving a perfect body?